So let's start with the prayer. Remembering all the gurus who make us what we are every moment and give us guidance and learning. Om Ajnana Timrantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pacharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I hope you all have started chanting every day, children. If you have not started chanting every day, you're chanting. Just chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. If you're feeling embarrassed to chant in front of other people, chant in private. You can chant when you're alone and chant for, slowly increase it. First start with 3 times. Then only thing is today I'll also share what are the offenses of chanting. So how can you chant, with a full focus on your own voice? It's important to listen to your voice while you're chanting. Yes, Ritika, chanting is really a spiritual activity. It will really help you. So these shlokas we have been already learning last week also. I think we'll just quickly revise them. I want you both to unmute and repeat after me. I will try to say it slowly so that you can listen clearly and repeat. You can repeat together. Okay, till the others come. This is these some of them are very famous. Shall I play the Tanpura? It will be better if I play the Tanpura. 1 minute. I usually play the Tanpura in D scale. My computer is lagging actually. It's very slow. Just a minute. Okay, anybody remembers that first one, that the one which I'm sharing? Can you say it by yourself? Yada yada hi dharmasya. Say.
Yada hi dharmasya
Glanir bharata.
Glanir bharat
Abhyuthanam adharmasya.
Abhyuthanam adharmasya
Tadatmanam srijamyaham.
Tadatmanam srijamyaham.
Srijami means manifest, Krishna will just manifest himself when adharma is abhyudhanam, means when adharma becomes predominant in the world, Krishna will certainly come to protect us and manifest himself. Paritranaya sadhunam.
Paritranaya sadhunam.
Vinashaya cha dushkritam.
Vinashaya drashtutam.
Dharma samsthapanarthaya.
Dharma samsthapanaya.
Sambhavami yuge yuge.
Sambhavani yuge.
They have not got the link. It's the same as last class, but they are asking for the link. I'll just forward the link. Then the next one, let's do by the time they come in. Janma karma cha me divyam.
Janma karma cha me divyam.
Evam yo veti tatvatah.
Evam yo veti tatvatah.
Tyaktva deham punarjanma.
Tyaktva devam punarjanma.
Naiti mameti sorjuna.
Neti mamati surjuna.
Right. Okay. So one more shlok we'll do from chapter 4. The next one is Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mamupashritaha Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Uta Madbhavamagataha. So I want Hare Krishna. Good morning, Arav. Okay, just left also. So I want you all to learn from 4.7 to 4.10 very smoothly. Okay, these are very important and nice shlokas. Then you can do 5. In chapter 5, the last verse is also very important. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam.
Taram yagna tapasam.
Sarvalokamaheeshwaram.
Sarvalokamaheeshwaram.
Suhridam sarvabhutanam.
Suhardam sarvabhutanam.
Jnatva mam shantim mritshati.
Jnatva mam shantim vikshati.
This is a peace formula. Okay, once you know that Krishna is the ruler of the whole world, he is the best friend of every living entity. Once you know that, you will be automatically peaceful. Okay. And the 6th was last one where he declares that bhakti is the highest of all. So he says, Yogi namapi sarvesham.
Yoginam api sarvesham.
Madgatenantaratmana. Madgatenantaratmana means he's always in his mind thinking of me. Okay. And how does he pray? How does he pray to Krishna? With so much of love. Shraddha, with sincerity and devotion. With Shraddha, he will praise God. Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam.
Shraddhavan bhajate yom.
Same yuktatamo mataha.
Same yuktatamo mata.
Yuktatam means the highest yoga. Yukta is like yoga and yuktatam is like, highest. So mata means I am telling you that constantly with full devotion, bhajana, thinking of God with devotion is the highest form of yoga. That's what he declares at the end of chapter 6. We'll be quickly revising chapter 6, but let's go to the quickly story of Krishna. Shall we do the story last or shall we do story first?
First.
We'll do the
We can do the story first.
All right, Alice. So we'll do the story first. I hope you will all help me to read it. We'll be quickly reading and understanding. We'll do 2 of the stories today from the life and deeds of Krishna. Let's do the naming ceremony first. Okay. Somebody would like to read first? Or shall I? Can you see this?
Bye-bye.
All right, Anushka, you can start reading. Chapter 12, the naming ceremony.
Those days were lived in Maharashtra named by Garga.
There lived a Maharshi. Okay, 1 minute, Anushka. Those days there lived a Maharshi and the Maharshi's name was Garga. Continue.
Garga Muni was a great sage who had undergone many austerities and penances. Ma'am, what does it mean by?
He had undergone many austerities means he did lot of tap. Austerity means tap. Even when we are chanting the Maha Mantra, it is a form of tap. Even when you're sitting and studying, and if you dedicate your study to Krishna, it becomes a tap. Okay, instead of studying just to get good results or studying just so the teacher will not scold you without thinking of result, you're just studying with a pure mind because you want to give it to Krishna. This work I'm doing now, I'm sitting now and studying, I'm doing my homework and I'm studying this chapter very well. Krishna, I'm offering it to you. That's also an austerity. It's a tapa. You are sacrificing your time and your effort and you're giving it to Krishna. It becomes a sacrifice. It's an austerity. It's a tapa. Penance also is tapa. Penance also includes like meditation, you're doing your Maha Mantra jap. All that comes in austerities and penance. Austerity also includes like Ekadashi fasting, or if you don't take non-vegetarian food, then you are doing an austerity. Okay, if for adults, if they are not doing engaged in sexual activity, that is also an austerity. So when you do something, you control yourself in some way and you do something which you should do, it is an austerity, it's a tapa. Okay, so Garga Muni had done so many austerities and penances and he was a great saint. Okay, Anushka?
Yes, ma'am. He was the priest of Yadava tribe. Once, during his travels, he chanced to visit Vasudeva in Mathura. Receiving the Maharishi with due
Vasudeva.
respect,
Anushka. This is Vasudeva is the father of Krishna. When we say Vasudeva, it actually means Krishna himself. Vasudeva's son will be called Vasudeva. Then it is Krishna. But here we are talking about Krishna's father in Mathura, Vasudeva. Okay?
Vasudeva.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Receiving the Maharishi with due respect, Vasudeva inquired about his well-being and after food and rest, addresses him thus, Noble Maharishi, you may know that my sons are growing up in Gokul, in Nanda's house. Fear of Kamsa does not allow me to bring them up here with me. My sons are looking after very well by Nanda. Will you please, O respected sage, go to Gokul, cast their horoscope and perform their naming ceremony?
Anybody knows what is horoscope?
Horoscope is like when we look into the planets and see there like what will be good to them or bad, something like that.
Yes. Have you heard that before marriage, they look at the horoscope of the two people and say whether they can have a good marriage or not? All that you've heard
Yes.
of, no? The horoscope is
No, that ma'am something great that. Like
great desire. What did you
yeah,
say?
sir, there are many grades in that.
Yeah, there are many grids in that, no tables and all that you mean to say, right? Yeah, you're right. So actually, it was a very advanced science of those days. They were able to see the connection between the energy levels of the people and the movements of the celestial bodies, and they were able to say whether good things are going to come, bad things are going to come. Also, because of meditation, they would get some powers. You know, some of them who are great meditators, and they would get power to predict the future. So, since Garga Muni was a very great saint and he knew astrology, the science of astrology very well, Vasudeva said, please, can you go to Gokul and see the horoscope of my two children? That's what he'll say. Okay, so, okay, now Ritika, you can continue reading from here. Thank you, Anushka.
Garga agreed. More than doing the task assigned to him, he wanted to see the boys himself, for he knew the truth about them. And as I said earlier, every pious soul was being attracted. Every pious soul was being attracted towards the divine infants at Nanda's place. Soon, Maharishi Garga reached Gokul. When Garga Muni arrived at the home of Nanda Maharaja was very pleased to see him and immediately stood up with folded hands and offered his respectful obeisances. He received Garga Muni with the feeling of one who is worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He offered him a nice sitting place, and when he sat down, Nanda Maharaja offered him a warm reception. Addressing him very politely, he said, my dear Brahmana,
Sorry. Yeah. Your appearance
Yeah, your appearance in a householder's place is only to enlighten. We are always engaged in household duties and are forgetting our real duties of self-realization. Your coming to our house is to give us some enlightenment about spiritual life. You have no other purpose in visiting householders. Actually, a saintly person or a brahmana has no business visiting householders who are always busy in the matter of dollars and cents. The only reason saintly persons and brahmanas go to the place of a householder is to enlighten him. If it is asked, why don't the householders go to a saintly person or a brahmana for enlightenment? The answer is that householders are very poor hearted. Generally, householders think that engaging in family affairs is their prime duty and that self realization or enlightenment and spiritual knowledge is secondary. Out of compassion only, saintly persons and brahmanas go to householders' homes.
Right. Thank you, Ritika. So here we can see that householders means, all of us, like we are all householders. We live in a house with our families. What happens is the parents, they're busy making money, or they think that this is all I need to do. They're worried about the food, about the parties, about get-together, social gatherings, shopping, making money, getting the children to be educated. The whole day they'll be with the household thing. They forget that the real purpose of a human life is to get self-realization. And so the great saints who have given up everything, they don't need to go to householders. They are already self-contented, but they go just because they think that let me give some enlightenment. Why don't householders go for enlightenment? Because they are so busy, they're poor hearted, they don't even realize the precious knowledge they are missing. And that they're forgetting that they have a duty to their soul. Some of them, many of them don't even realize that they have it, that they are actually soul and that they are not the body. They don't know also. So they have not reached that level of consciousness. Krishna will eventually give everybody that knowledge eventually. Slowly, little by little, people will get knowledgeable. They're all at different levels of consciousness, but most householders are busy just making money. Okay, so now read from indirectly. Ara, read from indirectly now. Okay, he related to Nanda what Vasudeva told him. Read from there. Arav? Hello, Arav. Are you listening?
Sorry, ma'am, I was on mute.
Yeah, read from he related to Nanda, dear.
Yeah. He related to Nanda what Vasudeva had told him.
Yes.
Indirectly, Garga Muni said that Krishna and Balrama were both sons of Vasudeva. Balrama was known as the son of Vasudeva because his mother Rohini was present there, but Nanda Maharaj did not know about Krishna. Garga Muni indirectly disclosed the fact that Krishna was the son of Devaki. Garga Muni intimated to Nanda Maharaj that the female child was born of Yashoda and that Krishna was born of Devaki, and they were exchanged. Also, the female child Durga had informed Kamsa that the child who would kill him was already born where else.
Okay, just read one more paragraph. This one.
He then added, now if Kamsa comes to know that I have done ceremonies, he will surely guess that the boys are Vasudeva's children. As I am Yadava's priest, that will be inviting trouble unnecessarily. The ceremony should be a low-key affair. We can perform them at night to be safer.
Yeah. So then he says that if Kamsa comes to know that I have come here, he will surely know that this is Krishna and this is actually the Lord born to kill Kamsa. And so it's better that we do a quiet ceremony and nobody should know that I have come here, because he would not do for normal people. Okay. So we'll continue. Ritika, can you read from this was agreed?
Yes, ma'am. This was agreed upon. Maharishi Garga was an expert in astrology. He studied the planetary positions at the time of birth of the children in detail and drew many conclusions. He said, Rohini's son will bring joy to all. His name should therefore be Rama. He will have tremendous physical strength, and hence he is also Bala. Together, his name will be Balrama. He was attracted and transferred from one home to another. Moreover, he will in later years be a meditator between two groups of Yadavas. On both these counts, I also name him
Sankarshana.
Sanskarash
Sankarshana.
Sankarshana. Your son was born as Vasudeva's son. Those knowledgeable people know this will
Knowledgeable
call him
people who know this will call him Vasudeva.
Vasudeva.
And
He
what
will
was Vasudeva? Yeah.
destroy sins and give absolute happiness to others, and will attract all souls towards himself, and so I name him Krishna. This name is also apt as he is dark in complexion. He will get many more names in future on account of his many qualities and the wonderful deeds that he'll do.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Ritika. So here we can see that Balarama is named Bal because of his strength and Rama because Ramayati ite Rama. It means he will give a lot of joy to everyone. Ram means Ramna, a lot of joy. And Krishna because Akarshati iti Krishna, one who attracts. Krishna can attract our mind and remove us from all, destroy all our sorrows and worries and attract our mind. So Akarshati iti Krishna. He is very attractive, and also Krishna means dark. So because he's actually not dark, he's fair, but he has got bluish tinge. That's why they call him. They say that he's dark. Anushka, you want to continue reading, or you want me to read a little? Hello, Anushka. Okay, I'll read a few paragraphs, and Anushka, I hope you're there. You can take over from there. So Garga Muni further, he told Nanda Maharaj that his son would also be called Giridhari. See how much they're able to predict. Nostradamus also, he had predicted that the Twin Towers in America would be destroyed. He had used some other language, but he had predicted. So there are people who have the power to predict. Now Garga Muni even predicts that he will be called Giridhari. Another name will come for him. Why? Because he will perform a very uncommon pastime which no human child can perform, lifting of the Govardhana hill. Since Garga Muni was an astrologer, he could see a lot of past and future, and he said, I know everything about his activities and names, but others don't know. This child is going to be very pleasing to the cowherd men and boys. Being very popular in Vrindavana, he will bring a lot of good fortune, and a lot of material calamities will also come, but he will overcome all that despite many opposing elements. And Garga Muni says this child will grow in power, beauty, opulence, and everything on the level of Narayana. Therefore, he actually gives a hint to Nanda that this is actually God. Therefore, I will advise you to protect him so that he may not grow, so that he may grow without disturbance. In other words, Garga Muni informs Nanda Maharaj that because he was a great devotee, because Nanda was a great devotee of the Lord had given him a son equal to himself. At the same time, Garga Muni said that the son would be disturbed by many demons and Nanda should be careful and protect him. And in this way, Garga Muni convinced Nanda that Narayana had come as his son, and in various ways he described the transcendental qualities of Krishna. After giving all this information, he returned home and Nanda thought, I'm the most fortunate person. And he's very satisfied to receive a blessing. Benediction means blessing. Garga Muni had conveyed that the horoscopes of both the boys are excellent. No danger will come to them. And it is because for the well-being of people that they are born, and all those who will love Krishna and Balarama will themselves experience joy and peace. And Nandagopa, Yashoda and Rohini, they were overwhelmed listening to the sage. And Nanda gave Garga many valuable gifts, and then he leaves Gokul and continues on his journey. Shall we stop this reading here, or shall we do chapter?
Yes,
We'll stop here. We'll do a little bit of Gita now. So I thank three of you for joining, because it means a lot to me that I have someone to share these beautiful learnings from the Gita. So we already did the chapter 6, in which we learned how to control the mind. Does anybody remember what are the two things you need to do to control the mind that Krishna said?
We need to keep practicing about it. Like,
Yes, very good. You have to keep on practicing because the mind is a stupid monkey. It will keep on running everywhere. If you have to control the mind because you have power over your mind. You have power over your intelligence. Intelligence has power over the mind. Mind has power over the senses, and senses has power to stop itself from running to the sense object. So ultimately you can control, and you by practicing you can control. The only way it will run. The mind is very fickle. It will run. You have to practice. Second way is, remember, Arav had answered me last class. What is the second way of controlling the mind? Two things are needed. What is the second one, Arav?
Ma'am, to practice that yoga.
One is to practice controlling the mind, and second one is detachment. Last class you had said, but this class you just forgot. Detachment is the second one, where you are attaching yourself. Ritika had also answered that question last class. You attach yourself to higher tastes and keep yourself, in higher energy level, so that you are detached from desires and all that, the material things. What happens if one is unable? Then Arjuna gets scared. He says, I'm leaving all the sense desires and I'm giving everything to Krishna and I'm practicing. But what will happen if I don't, if I fail? I can't. Okay. So, Arjuna is asking, what will happen if I'm going on trying to get perfection? And if, I don't achieve, what will happen? And do you remember anyone what Krishna will answer?
the Arjun will take rebirth on this planet again and again until he attains like Krishna.
Yes, he says that whatever you are trying now is never waste. It will always help you. It will probably take you to a better family, a higher family where there's more knowledge. Already spiritual knowledge is there in the family. The culture of spiritual knowledge is there. Or you'll be born to a rich family where you don't have to worry about food and everything, and you can focus on spiritual advancement. So there is never a loss in practicing spirituality. So here you can see in chapter 6, these are the things which Krishna has explained. First of all, he says that the nature of the mind is very fickle. And how is the mind? It can be a friend or it can be an enemy, right? When will it be a friend? When you can control it. And then he talks about the yoga ladder, and he talks about Ashtanga yoga, how difficult it is. I had told you last class. And then he speaks about what is an unsuccessful yogi's destination. And finally, he says that the topmost yoga is bhakti, which has, I'll show you in the next one. The topmost is yoga, is bhakti. And Krishna says that if you render service unto me, you can have bhakti. What is bhakti? It will give you maximum results. It has minimum effort. Just have love for Krishna. There's no qualification. You don't have to sit and study all the scriptures, and you don't have to be, very knowledgeable. And it makes you sin free. Actually, remember Ritika once had asked me what will happen if we, people say that you go and dip in Ganga and you wash all your sins and all. Remember? Similarly, if you go into bhakti also, if you're just chanting little by little, all your earlier sins will disappear. Krishna will take control and protect you. So that is the power of all these spiritual, endeavors. And the destination of bhakti is to reach Golok Vrindavan. You won't go to all the heavens to enjoy material pleasures. You won't go to all the hells, but you will reach a spiritual transcendental place where you will be in complete bliss. And in one of the chapters, Krishna will describe how beautiful Golok Vrindavan is. Last class, children, you all had done, 3 of you had done the quiz, and only this question you all had not been able to do. 4 pillars of Dharma. I had put something like hope, love, peace. Some of you selected that. 4 pillars of Dharma are important. You must remember mercy or compassion, truthfulness, austerity, and cleanliness. These are the 4 pillars. And how are they associated with the regulative principles which ISKCON propounds? 4 regulative principles for mercy and compassion as you don't have meat. because you are compassionate to the animal. You don't gamble because it's a wrong way, it's a false way, it's not a truthful way of earning. You don't take intoxicants because you are austere. You don't go for illicit sex because you are clean. So these are the 4 pillars of dharma. And also, there are 10 offenses of the holy name. Whenever you're chanting, Vyasadeva has said in the Padma Puran, he has said, he has given us 10 offenses. When you're chanting Krishna's name or God's name, these are the things that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't blaspheme. Blaspheme means find fault or talk bad about any other devotee. Just don't speak ill about other people, don't blaspheme. They are dedicating their life to the holy name. You don't say find fault with them. To find fault, Krishna says it's Vyasa says that it's actually an offense. Second is, you don't consider all other gods to be equal as the supreme personality. All other gods are actually in the administrative level. They help in conducting the world's activities. But Krishna is the one from whom you're free from desires. You don't ask for anything from him. So that's a much higher level. You shouldn't disobey a spiritual master. You shouldn't blaspheme the scriptures. You should not, find fault with the Vedic scriptures. You should consider the chanting. You shouldn't think that, oh, Krishna is an imagination of somebody. You should have complete faith, right? You should not give your own interpretations. You should not do any sinful activities. You should consider chanting as a very auspicious activity. And you should not talk about chanting to people who are not ready to hear. But they will say, what is this chanting? It makes no sense. Or they will, they will put it down. So don't speak about it to people who are faithless. Don't speak about it to them. And finally, he says that you should to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding is also an offense. So basically, you are chanting with a lot of focus. So I wanted all of us to chant and also do the quiz of chapter 6 because last class I had not given the quiz. I'll just put it into the chat. If you all can do this chapter 6 quiz, you can do it now or later also. And chanting, I hope you all are doing maybe at the end of the class. We quickly come to chapter 7. All right, the class will end in 3 minutes, children. So maybe what you all can do is you answer the quiz and then you come back to the class. We'll start chapter 7 in a new meeting. Shall we do that? Okay, children? Anushka, Ritika, just do the quiz and come back. We'll do chapter 7 in the next meet. We'll have just about 15-20 minutes for that. So I'm ending this meeting. You come back after doing the short quiz of chapter 6.